A pad is a synth patch that supports other instruments in an unobtrusive way. So when I think of a pad, I think of long attack and release settings, especially for the amp envelope. So it gets louder and quieter slowly and unobtrusively. So starting with an initialized patch with just a little bit of slop on it, it sounds like this. So this is not a pad. If we turn up the attack and release, now it is a pad. So let's make it a little bit mellower by taking in the low pass filter. And since this has such a nice filter on it, I'm going to add some resonance to taste. Now if you're following along with a synth that has a filter that doesn't sound that great, just keep the resonance low. Most filters sound pretty similar with low resonance anyway, and it's not a bad sound. Next, let's dial in the high pass filter. So I'm going to play a low note and make it so the high pass filter, the effect is just audible, and I'm going to set the resonance up to about 11 o'clock. I find that's a real sweet spot. This helps your pad sound good in a mix or through a compressor, but it's extra important for the Prophet 6 since the thing sounds so huge. It can be kind of like playing a drum set where all the cymbals are gongs otherwise, so tame it down a little bit. And the resonance adds some vibe too. Alright, so the pad sounds good. Let's take it to the next level by adding some chorus. So set the rate to 5, the depth to 127, which is maximum, and set your wet-dry mix to be in between 90 and 100. I mean, if you're playing it as a solo instrument, I find 90 is a little bolder, and if you're playing with other instruments, then like above 100, it just sets you back in the mix really nicely. So since this is a tutorial and this is the only instrument playing, I'm just going to set it to 90. Yeah. Now, to me, this is the most basic pad template you can make that'll sound great in any situation because it fits in a sonic pocket and it has a nice stereo image. Now, the reason I call it a template is that this is a perfect jumping off point. You're always just one or two knobs away from just dropping jaws. For example, add in the second oscillator. Detune a little bit. Or you could detune it using the LFO. Or you could also do some pulse width modulation. Switch it to a square wave. Oops, that's not enough modulation. Coming up next, we're going to look into the different oscillator options and how to effectively use them in a pad. And we're also going to go over all of the different options, like these examples that I showed you here at the end, of just really making the pad sound really, really cool.